Power, speed, and ruthless aggression are the best ways to describe Anthony Joshua. At 6'6" and a whopping 82-inch reach, there is no denying that this towering figure of a man is intimidating, not only in public, but ask anyone like Francis Ngannou, who realized that stepping into the squared circle with a terrifying pit bull like Anthony Joshua is nothing similar to the octagon.
Inside the distance and unsteady on his legs as he falls back onto the ropes by Joshua, halfway stage of the opening round, and now pounding away to the body and the head. Beautiful left jab, sets up the right hand, and again, and now they are under big pressure on the ropes, and he goes down, and this...
The build-up for the Joshua-Martin fight was ripe for controversy. Not only did it involve Tyson Fury being stripped of his title, but the build-up began a year earlier. Joshua defeated Dillian Whyte, while Martin and Glazkov. Both fights ended by technical knockout, setting the stage for these two titans to collide. Joshua, who rarely shows weakness, didn't even bat an eye when he heard about his next opponent, simply brushing it off as just another fight.
I feel good. At the same time, it's just another fight, another boxing match with a different opponent.
Martin was highly motivated for this bout as well, but with so much on the line, who wasn't excited for these two legends to collide?
All I got to concentrate on is winning the fight, training, my preparation for the fight, and now, we're ready to perform.
It was a typical heavyweight by all standards, especially during the first round. Martin was on the back foot for most of it, but Joshua didn't apply a lot of pressure either. In fact, it seemed like both fighters were merely feeling each other out in the opening salvo. Most of the action came in the final 30 seconds of the round, when Joshua grazed Martin with a shot, which temporarily stunned the champ. But it was revealed that Martin had stumbled, instead of being knocked down.
As you say, Glenn, getting the jab going, but it's the right that Martin's got to watch for, and he's starting to unload here. Martin looking a little bit wary here, just got tangled up there. That was the advertising hoarding.
Ultimately, Joshua slipped a jab from Martin and landed a solid straight shot to the chin. Martin reluctantly got back up a few seconds later, but Joshua slipped another punch and once again dropped the champ.
Joshua's had him on the floor, and there's still a minute 40 left in this second round. And he's down again! And Martin looks like he's been wrecked. Destroyed.
Despite getting up at a count of 9, referee Van Imshoot called it 1 minute and 32 seconds in the second round. The victory was a typical show of boxing intelligence from one of the best to ever lace up a pair of boots. Despite this match never being intended, and Joshua's second title defense being billed against Tyson Fury, things didn't work out as planned. In fact, once the fight was called off, Vladimir Klitschko, the Ukrainian, became the immediate frontrunner to step up and challenge Joshua. But there was still a lot of controversy, with the WBA delaying a sanction of the bout due to ongoing legal proceedings with Lucas Brown at the time. Despite all these challenges, the fight was finally slated for April 29, 2017, and the hype was off the cards. In fact, almost 90,000 tickets had been sold 3 months before the fight, and the fight, well, it didn't disappoint. The build-up was as intense as you'd expect, with both fighters being straightforward and honest. Joshua remained as cool and respectful as always, while Klitschko kept his stoic demeanor.
And as I said, I really am pleased and overwhelmed, as I said, when I was competing in small hall shows, to be competing in front of 90,000 people, who will be supporting us. I'm going to ride that wave for sure and just enjoy it and embrace it.
For both of us? Okay, you can add. This is peace or is silence before the storm. As soon as our fists will fly in the ring, nothing personal but business.
In front of more than 90,000 people, the fight got underway, with another typical heavyweight style. Once again, the first round was used for measuring, with Joshua making most of the advances, but the Klitschko defense held firm, constantly pushing him back out. Round 2 saw the first flurry of punches, but it came from Klitschko. In fact, the first 4 rounds saw them even for the most part.
Or by knockout, so just
from round to round.
Good right hand.
He was under Jonathan Banks, the same he was under Emmanuel Stewart. Right hand by Joshua on the shoulder of Klitschko. Now the left hook. Now the right hand over the top. Joshua.
No, it's not really up in the air because both of us, how it feels sometimes to not be champion.
Missed with an uppercut, landed with a left. Fires a right to the body, and just misses with a big left hook upstairs. Joshua much more aggressive with his power.
The first important moment came in round 5 when Joshua sent Klitschko down with a barrage of punches. However, the Ukrainian quickly rose to his feet and dominated the next few minutes. This led to him scoring a knockdown of his own in round 6.
And he's taking more gambles like that.
Down goes Joshua. Now both fighters have been on the canvas.
That's what he's doing right now, Klitschko.
That's exactly right, Matt. Good jab by
Joshua's posture got a bit aggressive.
aggravated Klitschko mentally.
There it is.
So
Rounds 7 to 10 were mostly cautious as both fighters had now experienced a knockdown, but it would only be in round 11 when the fireworks finally kicked off. Midway through the 11th round, an uppercut visibly wobbled Klitschko, and just a few seconds later he would go down for a second time during this fight.
Joshua going for broke. Every punch is aimed at ending the fight. Body shot, left hook upstairs, right hand. David Fields is going to stop it.
With a second knockdown following this one in round 11, Klitschko seemed on his heels. With a barrage of punches flying at the Ukrainian, the referee finally stepped in to stop the fight. For this bout, we take you back to 2015, to a fight that has a ton of history and build-up. White and Joshua had been rivals since their amateur days, with White getting the better of his opponent during their amateur career. However, it would take many years for these two to finally come face-to-face, and White, notorious, had a few run-ins with the boxing police for substance abuse. Ultimately, the two were announced for a December fight at the O2 Arena in London, and this time, the fight was different.
Yeah, I want that lanky over there next. Let's do this! It's Anthony Joshua you're pointing at, is that right? Go!
And Anthony Joshua certainly had a massive point to prove. Round 1 was nothing short of a spectacle, and both fighters came out ready to fight. Joshua and White both landed substantial punches, but the biggest highlight was a left hook from Joshua.
Lads, aren't you? Little Howard Foster. Well, he's not so little, but he looks little.
Dwarfed, isn't he, by these two big guys?
Especially with White's well-reputed body punching to waist.
Yeah, really.
So White will be targeting that, but it's another heavy assault from Joshua.
By the time the bell rang to signal the end, both fighters were still pumped, with Joshua landing one just as the bell rang. This prompted White to respond with two of his own over the referee's shoulder. It would take each side's cornermen to step in and break up the fighters.
It's past 7, 8, 9 rounds. That's a frantic
One on the
first
bell.
round.
Oh, and look at White. White's gone crazy. Oh. Banks is in there straight away. Looks like he wants to have a go. Well, this is absolute chaos here at the end of this first round. And Jonathan Banks has done a great job. He's thrown White in his corner and shielded him. As everybody's just going berserk here. There's Clifton Mitchell, head of security, an old British.
So to absorb those shots.
Well, he was full on here, wasn't he? And suddenly...
Yep, glancing blow though. Didn't take the full weight of that shot.
And suddenly he came back with one of those looping left hooks.
Round 2 was full of taunting, which worked when Joshua sparked White into action, forcing him to take action and land a solid left hook. Joshua responded with a flurry of his own, but failed to drop the champion in the process. Round 3 was somewhat cautious from both fighters, both fighting behind their gloves. But with round 4 marking the first time Joshua had gone past 3 rounds, he seemed to kick into action. In fact, he found his mark, landing more frequently and consistently. Then in round 7, just a few seconds into the fight, Joshua landed a devastating right, which sent White down to the canvas in a heap of
Look
pain.
at those legs. Joshua's got all day to try and get this finished if he can. Can White somehow weather this storm? Looks like he's in no rush. He's playing the matador in there at the moment. Oh! Bludgeoned him with a huge right uppercut. White is down.
It prompted referee Foster to step in, wave the 10 count, and ultimately hand the victory to Joshua.
Right uppercut now.
The finish was the right uppercut, but it
what
was
a
that
shot.
long right hand that opened him up.
Billed as knockout chaos, Francis Ngannou leaped at an illustrious UFC career to step into the ring with Anthony Joshua, still at the peak of his game. Despite Ngannou being more of an MMA fighter, he did manage to score a knockdown on Tyson Fury in a previous boxing match. Ultimately, Fury won by a controversial split decision.
Ben Davison, AJ's trainer, said you'll struggle to do 10 rounds with AJ at the pace he's willing to fight.
I struggle to do 10 rounds, and if anybody doesn't struggle to do 10 rounds, then you are something else. You are not human. You know, I'm human. Everybody gets tired after 10 rounds, you know. So that's right, I'm struggling, and I have no problem with it because it's a learning process. I'm here to learn.
Ngannou ultimately dominated the UFC, eventually becoming champion and making a fool out of many of his rivals. But the two finally stepped into the ring in this highly anticipated bout, with fans selling out the stadium for this main event. Unfortunately, the bout didn't go as planned for the former UFC champ. Joshua utterly dominated, eventually forcing Ngannou to switch to a southpaw stance. But Joshua landed a straight right, knocking Ngannou down.
Ngannou, well balanced from AJ. He should try and draw out that lead from Ngannou. AJ touched him, he went down! 4!
Despite Ngannou once again rising to his feet, he would last long. Another straight right landed, and this time it was all over.
AJ, you can see every time AJ throws a jab and
just after he switched to southpaw, and again that right hand.
That right hand. He's badly hurt. He's out. Can this champion? It is lights out.
Ultimately, the victor was Anthony Joshua, once again proving just how powerful he is and that boxing is far different from the UFC. If you're pumped by these electrifying highlights from Anthony Joshua, don't miss out. Click on the screen to jump into the next video.